Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Rick, and today we're checking out something that caught my eye, the Toucan 3D scanner from 3D Maker Pro. Now I've used a few handheld scanners over the years, and honestly, most of them either required a tethered laptop or feel like they're missing something in the usability department. But this one, the Toucan's supposed to be a fully self-contained, all-in-one unit, no laptop required, no external power brick dangling off the side. So in this video, I'll walk you through what makes the Toucan different. We'll check out the specs, show some real scanning results, talk about the pros and cons, and wrap it all up with my honest thoughts. Let's get into it. Out of the box, the Toucan feels solid. It's got this all metal body, no creaky plastic anywhere, and it's got a bit of heft to it, around 700 grams. So it feels premium, but not too heavy to hold for long scans. The biggest standout right away is that gorgeous 6-inch AMOLED screen. You can see all of your scans in real time without needing to look at a computer. That's a big plus, meaning you can toss it in the carrying case and take it to your scanning subject instead of bringing a computer, a scanner, and a bunch of cables to another location. Right on the side, you've got this manual scroll wheel, which is surprisingly handy. It lets you quickly adjust brightness while you're scanning, something I didn't realize I needed until I used it. It's also super tactile, and it makes dialing in tricky surfaces a lot faster. So let's talk about what makes this thing stand out. The main selling points straight from 3D Maker Pro. First, that manual scroll wheel we just mentioned. It's a little detail, but it's a big quality of life improvement. Then, the 6-inch AMOLED screen, high contrast, bright, and it's full of useful information you'll need while scanning. Inside, it's running an 8-core, 2.4 GHz CPU, coupled with 32 gigabytes of RAM and 250 gigabytes of onboard storage. Yup, it's basically a mini computer inside a scanner. Powering it all is a 6600 milliamp hour battery, rated for about 2 hours of scanning time. It's got a fully metal chassis, giving that pro-grade feel. And last but not least, the built-in JM Studio software. That's 3D Maker Pro's own scanning suite, and it runs right on the Toucan, so you can scan, edit, and export directly. This is where it starts to separate itself from other scanners. Most of them need to be plugged into a PC to process anything. With the Toucan, you have the option to do everything on board. We'll definitely touch on this a bit later on in the video. Alright, let's geek out for a second and look at the numbers. The Toucan uses a blue structured light system with 4 3D cameras and a 48 megapixel RGB camera for color capture. Accuracy is quoted at up to 0.03 millimeters for close-up scans. That's really tight for a handheld. The working distance runs from 200 millimeters up to 1000 millimeters, with a scanning area ranging from 135 by 185 millimeters for small objects using the near mode, and all the way up to around 1000 by 750 millimeters for larger ones using the far mode. So you can go from tiny figurines to full furniture scans using the same device. Scan speed is around 15 frames per second, and it's got Wi-Fi 6 for connectivity. The whole thing weighs roughly 735 grams, and like I said, battery life lands near the 2-hour mark. So yeah, it's powerful, but also pretty flexible. The specs definitely place it in that mid to high-end handheld category. Alright, specs are one thing, but how does it actually perform? Let's check out some scans. In handheld mode, you can move around your object while the Toucan tracks in real time using its built-in sensors. The live preview on the AMOLED screen helps a lot. You can immediately see where you've missed a spot. I also found the brightness wheel very handy to make brightness corrections right at the beginning of a scan. It's very important to keep the device steady when scanning, so not having to tap on the screen to make changes is a really nice feature. There are several scanning modes available on the Toucan. 3 are available under the Structured Light or SLAM menu, and the 4th has a separate button for global scans. All 4 modes can use either the near or far cameras, and you have a choice on the laser power, Class 1 or Class 3. We'll start with some large scanning examples. First, I took the scanner out to the garage to see what I could capture on my car. First, I tried the front grille, as there's a part I need to replace in the future. I did a quick scan in geometry mode and probably spent less than a minute scanning. I wasn't trying to capture every detail or get a perfect capture. I just wanted to see how well the scanner would perform. This scan I took back to the computer, and here is the result. Next, I decided to scan the engine bay. All told, I spent less than 2 minutes scanning, and I just used the geometry mode. There is no preparation here, no markers, no scanning spray. Here you can see the point cloud data right on the scanner right after I finished my scan. When you finish a scan, you have to accept it by hitting the check mark to proceed. The scanner then processes the data before you can decide to work with it any further or save it to the scanner's built-in storage memory. In this example, it took 1 minute and 55 seconds before I was presented with the option to set the point distance. I left it at the suggested value, and it took an additional 20 seconds to finish the operation. Once you get to this point, you can either use the onboard software to cut out parts of the point cloud that you don't want included in further processing. At this point, you can either choose the one-click method or dive a little deeper if you want more control over the full process. In this example, I chose the one-click method with medium quality. After 50 seconds, I had a mesh of my engine bay. Again, if I needed a more complete scan, I'd need to spend more time making sure I covered more angles. This is a pretty good result for the minimal amount of effort it took. Now, we'll take a look at some smaller objects and discuss the other scanning modes. Since scanning my own face would be a bit of a challenge, I grabbed a mannequin head for my next test. This is a great sample to show why different modes are necessary. First, I tried scanning the head in geometry mode, since there isn't much of a texture or color pattern to the sample. The Toucan handled the front of the head without issue, but when moving to the back of the head or the top, there wasn't any geometry to lock onto, so it couldn't maintain tracking. Here is the result. Objects like this head are good examples where using the marker mode or global marker mode are ideal. Since I didn't want to plaster marker dots all over the head, I placed the head on a marker mat and printed some scanning targets and placed the included marker dots on these targets. I placed the targets on the scanning platform, captured the global marker area, and then scanned the head. Here are the results from that scan. Because the height of the head was taller than the tallest scan markers, I did have to place a few markers on the top of the head to maintain tracking. Now, early on when I first got the scanner, I did take a moment to scan my daughter's face when she visited last month, and the results are pretty good. One thing to note, and 3D Maker Pro mentions this in the documentation, is that scanning dark hair is something that this scanner does not do well, and you'll see that there is a clear cutoff where her hair frames her face. I also did a scan of the red gummy bear that appears in many of my 3D printer reviews. This is another item that doesn't have much texture or geometry. This scan was also made using the global marker mode. Next, we have this small statue that I bought years ago when I was visiting Hawaii. It has a lot of detail, but not much color variation. Despite being fairly monochrome, I chose to use the texture mode, and since it's a bit larger than what can be captured in a single go in near mode, I set it on a turntable and did the scan in 2 parts, one of the bottom half and then one of the top half. I brought the data into JM Studio on my PC, aligned the 2 halves, and then processed the file. For this scan, I did capture texture data, or color information. Here is the scan with the texture data. Note, you can almost read the text on the back. Although I chose the low quality option for the fusion, you'll see there is still a lot of detail in the underlying mesh. I want to pause a bit here and talk about capturing texture data for your scans. Texture info will really increase the file size and processing time, so you'll want to plan on that. For this model, running on my PC, which has an AMD Ryzen 9 5900X 12-core processor with 64 gigabytes of RAM, processing the 2 halves with texture data took 55 minutes to complete. The same data without texture mapping took only 4 minutes to complete the fusion and hole filling process. The last mode of capture is single frame. This can sometimes give you finer detailed results since the scanner can be stationary as well as the subject. I wanted to really challenge the Toucan with this test, so I grabbed this old video capture card. Some of the surface mount devices on this card are less than a millimeter tall. Now, this has a lot of items like these shiny spots that I know the Toucan isn't going to be able to scan, so you'll see that in the final results. When the scanner has the subject locked, you just hit the shutter button on the top and capture a single frame. This is repeated over and over with overlapping data to maintain the lock until you have all the data that you want. This gives you a lot of control while keeping the file size very low. Here are the results of that scan. Finally, I wanted to do a quick scan of something in FAR mode with texture data. I did a very quick scan of the 85X that I am reviewing. Note how quickly the scanner finds the tracking after repositioning. Here are the results of that scan. Again, this was a very quick scan just to see what it would capture. If I wanted to get more information and a more complete scan, it would have taken more time. All right. Let's wrap up with the areas where the Toucan shines and those areas where things aren't quite so bright. Before I get into the list, I do want to make a quick note about my pros and cons in general. The list isn't a scale, whereby if there are more pros than cons or vice versa, that a device should be viewed as a success or a failure. One pro could outweigh 3 cons, but I'll leave that up to the viewer to decide. And I try to list all of the little things that impress or aggravate me so that potential buyers can make the most informed decision possible. Now, on to the pros. First, that all-in-one design. No laptop, no cables. I love it. The one scanner that I purchased myself is also an all-in-one scanner. You will be a lot more likely to use a scanner if you don't have to worry about a bunch of cables, power, and you aren't tethered to a computer. Next, excellent build quality. It looks and feels like something designed by Apple. There are a few design choices that I would have changed, but more on that in the cons. Even despite these, it's a pretty impressive piece of kit that you'll be happy to pull out of the case. The fit and finish is superb. It has great scan quality and accuracy for its class. I was really impressed with how well the tracking works when it has a good subject. More on that during my final thoughts. That brightness control wheel again is small but genius. Battery life and portability make it super convenient. The quick charging is also a really great feature. Here you can see some data when I was charging the Toucan. It was pulling over 22 watts. 3DMaker Pro states that you can get an 80% charge in 30 minutes. Another benefit, so far, there have been frequent firmware updates, and they are adding features and capabilities. Many of the other reviews out there, as well as my first look video, show the beta firmware that had a lot of oddities. Since that time, I've had several firmware updates that have added features and fixed many of those issues. Features like automatic base removal, multiple file transfer queuing, and more detailed custom fusing options were all added in the past few days. Now we'll hit the cons. My biggest gripe with the Toucan, and I don't know if this is something that can change, is the time that it takes to end a scan. When you've decided that you've captured all you want and hit that checkmark icon, the scanner processes the data before giving you the option to clean up the point cloud or do any of the fusion processes. This step means that you can't do another scan until it finishes, and it can take several minutes to tens of minutes depending on the number of frames captured and the complexity of the scan. My next issue, no USB file transfer. While it's nice to be wireless when scanning, I would have preferred the option to plug in the scanner using the USB-C port to transfer files. The USB port is only used for charging the battery, and I've been told that this will always be the case. A 3 GB scan took over 26 minutes to transfer to my PC. Next, port and vent placement. The USB port is on the bottom of the scanner, which is where you would naturally set the unit down. You'll either need to put it on the tripod or place the scanner on its side to charge it. The ventilation grid is also on the bottom of the scanner, and you'll not want to block this while the scanner is running. Next, it gets pretty warm. The all-metal construction is both a blessing and a curse. During use, the scanner heats up fairly significantly. It's not so hot that you can't hold it, but you'll definitely notice it. I believe the production units are coming with a silicone case, which should help out. My next con is the power button placement. The power button is recessed, but if you hold the scanner like you'd naturally hold a camera, your left thumb is right on the power button. I only accidentally pressed it a few times during scans, and fortunately, it just brings up a menu that you can cancel and it won't ruin the scan. Next, the top button is for single frame capture only. It seems like using it to start and stop continuous scans would make sense too. Maybe that will come in the future. Next, registration. This is another minor issue, but it may be a problem for some people. You have to create an account to use the JM Studio software. Now, it only requires an email address, but this is another step that some may not be too wild about. My final con applies to both the software on the device and the JM Studio that runs on the PC. Both programs have a tendency to have progress bars that stall while the computer is processing. Sometimes you'll find yourself looking at a progress bar that doesn't move for 5 to 30 minutes, depending on what you were doing, and then all of a sudden it picks back up and completes the operation. Like I mentioned earlier, when processing the texture scan on my PC, it took almost an hour, but for the majority of that time, the progress bar didn't move. It's hard to know if the computer is doing anything or if the program is hung. Honestly, though, none of those are deal breakers, just little things that could have been done better. Every device has its strengths and its weaknesses. So, final verdict, the 3D Maker Pro Toucan is a very capable, portable 3D scanner. It's not an inexpensive item, so definitely do your research before buying this or any other scanner. It's also very important to get the right tool for the job. The Toucan does have both near and far mode cameras, so it hits a sweet spot in capability. But this comes at a trade-off. It's not the best scanner for very small objects with really fine detail. The 3D Maker Pro Seal is the preferred scanner there. If really large objects are your goal, there is the Link scanner. But both of those devices, they require that pesky connection to a computer. Now, one thing to keep in mind with 3D scanners is they are not like a point-and-shoot camera. You really need to spend a good amount of time learning the different modes of the scanner and when to use each. Some objects cannot be scanned in the texture or geometry mode and must be scanned in the marker mode. If you can't put markers on the objects, you might need the global marker mode. Just like any 3D scanner, there are some things that don't scan well, like clear and reflective surfaces, which will require a 3D scanning spray so that the structured light pattern can be captured. You will lose tracking during scans, you will have scans that don't line up well, or you may not be fully happy with the final results. Like any tool, you need to invest time into learning to use it, practice, and you can achieve some pretty impressive results in the end. All in all, though, I am pretty pleased with the performance of this scanner. It's nice to see another company bring something this capable to the market. If you have any questions about the scanner, please let me know down in the comments. All right, so that's it for this one. Big thanks to 3D Maker Pro for letting me test out the Toucan. And as always, this is not a sponsored review. All opinions here are my own. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I drop new content. Thanks for watching, folks, and as always, let's keep on learning, burning, printing, and growing together. Take care, everyone.